Welcome in to a brand new edition of the Lucas and Lucas podcast. Lucas Frankel and Mike Lucas here with you as we get set for the second half of the Brooklyn Nets season. What do you know? There is a new coach in town, Kevin Ollie, formerly of the UConn Huskies, 2014 National Championship head coach Jacque Vaughn has been fired. Mike, what are your overall thoughts on the situation with the Brooklyn Nets? Because my thoughts are Jacque Vaughn handled, I thought, everything with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving horribly. I think he always spun everything as being so positive, even when there was a dumpster fire happening right in front of him, and he was like, yeah, everything's great. I didn't like I thought he was very inauthentic, and I can see why the players didn't really relate to him and wanted to change. But in the grand scheme of things, dumpster fire of an organization, and feels like it's never going to be right again.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised, and I guess not surprised at the same time. It just felt weird. They gave him an extension last year, so to then bail so quickly. But at the end of the day,
and that's the mark of organizations that are just incompetent. Like as soon as they have like an ounce of success, we're like, yeah, give him whatever he wants,
yeah.
and then a month later they're like, yeah, actually this doesn't work.
To me, though, big picture wise, this feels like, and I'm just speculating, but it feels like the Nets are going to go into this offseason big game hunting. They have picks. They have young players. They have contracts to match. And I'll use Donovan Mitchell as an example. I'm not saying it's him, but just for example, if they want to put together a package for Donovan Mitchell, if the Cavs don't have the success in the postseason that they would like they're going to allow him to pick his coach, essentially, which is also a terrible way to run a franchise. But so essentially, this
is so in your mind. I mean, the Donovan Mitchell stuff is like everyone. I don't know what
it's not even Donovan Mitchell specific. This could be whether it's Mitchell or Karl Anthony Towns or any star in theory, going into the offseason knowing they have the assets they have to essentially, if a team is willing to trade a star, the Nets can put together as good a package as anybody to acquire said star. Another attractive part of Brooklyn could be the ability for said star, whether it's Donovan, whether it's someone else. I'm just using Donovan as an example. I'm not saying he should be the one you're looking at. I'm just using it as an example. It's another thing to say, hey, choose Brooklyn over other team because you'll be able to pick the head coach you want to play for. To me, that's the bottom line, big picture thing I'm looking at from this move is it's now a blank spot for somebody to come in and choose their head coach. And it's just another thing to add to the reasons why Brooklyn may be an attractive destination for a star.
See, like the whole idea of star hunting, I think is just ridiculous. Like the Nets have gone star hunting multiple times, and each time it's been a colossal, brutal failure. Obviously, the initial one with Pierce, Garnett, Jason Terry, like that one, I think was doomed to fail from the start. Those guys were over the hill, and there was no way they were just going to automatically recapture the magic. This latest one with Durant, Kyrie, and Harden had the makings of being a great team. I think would have been a great team if those guys just had a little more maturity and weren't so I don't know what the right word is, but difficult probably is the best word I can.
Different situation,
but the whole idea of like going star hunting again and like going through like Sean Marks was at his best, Mike, when after he could basically rid them of all the remnants of the Terry Pierce Garnett trade, and he was able to build a team organically with D'Angelo Russell, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe. It was like we got all these bunch of glue guys in to build a culture that attracted the Durant. So like I think forcing the whole get star hunting is just a mistake. And
I agree.
Based on where this franchise is at the moment, like let's just like ride it out here. I mean, if you could, what I would really love to do is trade Mikal Bridges and get all our picks back from the Rockets and really just tank in peace. Like I just want to tank in peace. In the grand scheme of things, that's all I want.
Yeah. Frank, I'm with you. I agree with a lot of things you said. The issue is the reason they kind of have to go star hunting is they don't have their own picks.
Well, that's how you get them back.
Because no. But I'm saying unless they make that move, which it can't happen now because the deadline's passed and we're looking at moves, looking ahead. If that offer is not still on the table from Houston, like you have no incentive to bottom out. So they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. And frankly, I know Zach Lowe talked about in his podcast last week, the Mikal Bridges to Houston for all their picks back. If I'm the Nets, man, I would have done that in a heartbeat. I don't know if that was a legitimate offer. I don't know if that was ever actually on the table, but
it's your get out of jail free card. Why didn't you take it?
I would have done it. My gut says there's no way that trade was real. But if it was real and they declined it, I'd have some questions. I'll leave it at that.
Anyway, so the Nets are a dumpster fire. They play the Raptors here on Thursday night with Kevin Ollie. We'll see if anything changes. The big thing, honestly, is like the reason why this season's been such a disaster in the grand scheme of things is because Ben Simmons has been a non-factor. Like the Nets are banking so much on him, and apparently one of the stories out there was that Jacque Vaughn wanted to like center the offense around Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons was never there, so it became a whole thing. Spencer Dinwiddie became unhappy, hence why he got traded and whatnot. But anyway, just a debacle of a franchise. Another debacle of a franchise, the Mets. Kodai Senga hurt his shoulder. Who knows if he'll pitch at all this season? But the other dumpster fire, a lot of dumpster fires in sports right now. The NBA All-Star Game. I don't have an idea how to fix this, and everyone keeps.
I have a couple too. I want to hear yours first, though.
Everyone keeps talking about pay the players. If you just give them more money, then they'll try it, which is just ridiculous. Like how much more money do these guys possibly need? I think anytime anyone's like, yeah, just give them more money, they're not being paid enough. It's just like that's such a lazy answer. But I think the best way to do it, and I'm sure you can easily refute this, is here's how I would do it. So you'd have your two teams playing slated to play 4 quarters. First team to win 3 quarters wins. So, and each quarter's up to is whoever reaches 31st, win by 2, wins the quarter. So like a 1-1, 2-0, and then like 2-1, 2-2. And if it's 2-2 after 4 quarters, we go to overtime. First team to 10 wins the game. No win by 2. So it's just like, I think the idea of having a target score for each quarter and having these guys like know, like, oh crap, we're down 29-27. We have to get a stop here. Like then you'll see the guys really, truly like clamp down on defense, run legitimate plays, and try hard. Like granted, in the grand scheme of things, I couldn't give a crap about the NBA All-Star Game. None of the All-Star games in the grand scheme of things do anything for me. NHL couldn't care less. Pro Bowl has been, I mean, it's basically a non-factor at this point. And the biggest issue with the Pro Bowl is that like all the guys who play in the Super Bowl and the best players in the league never play in it. So like, I'm so like the Pro Bowl does nothing for me. We talk about the best one is the MLB All-Star Game, and the benefit the MLB All-Star Game has is that there is nothing else going on at that moment. If they have that Tuesday and Monday all to themselves, there's not a single other event happening, and literally in the entire sports world for that day, which is why it like makes it tolerable because there's really nothing else going on. But I think having a target score for each quarter will just naturally increase the level of urgency to either get a basket or get a stop and force these guys to show a little bit more effort. If you're really trying to fix the game, which I don't know what the NBA's goals are with this, but if you're truly trying to make it a competitive game where the guys show some sort of effort, I think that's the best way to do it.
Well, if you want a competitive game with effort, you're going to be crying on your high horse for a long time. It's not going to happen. There's no incentive, and that's why money, at the end of the day, I know these guys make a lot of money, but Frank, if I told you, hey, everyone at CBS Sports is going to get a week off, but you got to come in and do 2 extra shows. We're not going to pay you anything, though. You got to come do it because someone else wants to. Like, wouldn't you be like, nah, pay me? Like, if I'm coming in working while everyone else gets off, I want to be paid. So their incentive to put on like, I don't think any of them want to actually be there. Like, they're kind of being forced to be there where everyone else gets to go on vacation. So if you want them to actually take it seriously, there has to be some sort of financial incentive. I threw out this. I'm not the first one to do it, but I think USA versus Team World, which then complicates who makes the All-Star team. There's more US-born All-Stars than World All-Stars, but at least there's something a little more at stake there. Whether it's, Frank, I think ideally you want to fix All-Star Weekend, screw the game. Like the games, put the 10 best one-on-one players in there. Let them play King of the Hill. Like that'd be way more entertaining. The whole All-Star Weekend is broken. I have a bunch of different ideas to fix the 3-point shootout, the dunk contest. They're all silly. They'll never happen. But at the end of the day, and I've talked to enough guys in the league, big names and small names now, it's a vacation for everyone else, and the All-Stars are forced to be there. Nobody actually wants to be there. And unless they're getting paid, they're not going to put effort in. That's not right.
Well, they are getting paid.
That's how it should be.
They are getting paid.
That money to them that matters. $100,000, Franco, to you and I, is life-changing money. To them, it's 3 minutes in a regular NBA season game.
So, like, if you're talking about like money that actually matters, we're talking about like $10 million like per player.
So,
like,
here's what I suggested: the winning team, each player on the winning team gets $1 million. The MVP gets $9 million, $9 million. That way the winning team gets the NBA pays $20 million to the winner. And that incentivizes a player.
Then it becomes like I feel like, not that it would ever happen, but I feel like that then it becomes like, do the guys actually legitimately get mad at each other for not passing each other the ball? If like,
wouldn't that be more interesting to see than whatever we're getting now?
For like, we'll see how it plays out, and like if it works somehow. But like then that becomes, I see a lot of issues. It could be a lot of fun just to see like who gets mad at each other.
When I said that to Jay Crawford, he goes, "Well, no one would pass it. I'll just start jacking shots." And I go, "Well, what do you think we're watching now for $100,000?" So like, it's not perfect. I don't think there's.
Honestly, that's hilarious. It's a hilarious idea that you had. That's so impractical. It would never happen, but it's hilarious to think of.
It's kind of fun though.
It would be fun.
It's kind of fun.
The true answer is that all-star games in general are broken.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any truly quote unquote fixing them. I think like the reality is like they're not for adults, they're for kids to like watch their star. Like,
it's pure entertainment.
The reason why all-star games used to be good was because with the TV situation in the country, like you only had access to watching a certain number of teams. And now with the culture that we're in today, with social media, with all the different satellite TV services, like you can watch all these guys on a day-to-day basis. So like the aura and the allure of seeing guys that you don't typically get to see is gone. And it doesn't make it special. And there's nothing special, I think, about the All-Star games. The reason why they do it is because it's a marketing opportunity, TV money. So I don't know what the answer is, but I am officially out on all All-Star games. The only one that sort of makes me somewhat interested is the MLB one, because of the fact that there's literally nothing else going on. I think.
One more idea. This will never happen, but someone sent us a super chat on our show and mentioned that the losing team should have to release the name of one of their side chicks in the city. So like they have to go on public TV and announce.
It's never going to happen.
But I'm saying, you want intensity? That would give you the intensity.
No, the MVP thing is interesting. The MVP thing is interesting, but it would never happen because then it becomes the guys would probably legitimately get mad at each other but it would be funny.
Yeah,
I agree. It would make it a show. But yeah, maybe just like
pitch that to your CBS guys. I'll be curious what your CBS. I mean,
maybe not
even
it's
unrealistic, but
maybe not even the MVP, but the high scorer of the game, and that way it just becomes like everyone's like keeping track of who's. Maybe it's a great.
My other idea, this one's even less practical, is each player in the All-Star game should have to place a wager or two wagers on some sort of prop in the game, but you have to know what the wager was. So it would be made public beforehand. So like Damian Lillard bets on himself over 32 points and under 24 for Giannis. So like Dame's just not passing to Giannis. But we knew like before the game is announced or starts, we know all the individual players' bets. So let them gamble on this game. But all know.
All right. So now I got my idea. So you don't necessarily. I guess you could still keep score, but so the way this game works, and it's not really gambling, it's more about competitiveness. So one team, there's 5 guys on one team, 5 guys on the other team, and they all have a what's it called? They each make 5 bets. Like each team has 5 bets based on players on the other team. Like, all right, we're facing Luka, Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Mikal Bridges, and Ben Simmons. And like it's just one bet for each player. Bet Ben Simmons under 8.5 assists. And whoever checks all the boxes first wins the game.
Yes, it gives you something to pay attention to other than the game itself. So
I actually think that's a great idea. I think that's so much better than the MVP thing. And that would be legitimately interesting with the culture that we're in now, and like being able to follow it and like see how they adjust their defenses. That is honestly the best one I've heard. So good job.
Thank you. All right, let's move on. Next topic. We fixed the All-Star game.
So the dumbest rule in sports, Mike, I don't know if I follow it because we're big golf shop, is Jordan Spieth got disqualified from the Genesis Invitational for handing in an incorrect scorecard. So and the reason why this is so dumb, and I know it's been the rule forever, but like, first of all, it's on TV. Every shot is on broadcast, so they can easily keep track on TV. They're keeping track on TV. There's like an official scorer there. So like, Jordan Spieth is done with his round. We know exactly what he shot. And then we have this person sitting in this chair. Sir, hand me your card. And like, it's almost like he's like quizzing Jordan Spieth. What did you get on 4? Oh, you got it. You marked a 5 here. Oh, I have a 4 here. Sorry, you're disqualified. Go home. It's just such a ridiculous thing that got me to thinking about Well, it got me thinking about a couple things. The first thing was I would not blame him at all if he just left the PGA Tour right now and went to live golf, because this is absolutely preposterous. Getting cheated out of so much money. It's the first time in the whole PGA live saga that I could understand why a player would be mad at the PGA Tour, but that's besides the point. So it led me to thinking the dumbest rules in sports, and I came up with a little list of
Okay.
some of the dumbest rules in sports.
I have
And
two.
some of them are the automatic runner on second base in baseball in extra innings is I can't handle it. Baseball Hall of Fame voting. Every
Well,
call.
that's not a rule though.
Well, it's a thing. It's
Okay.
a thing, whatever that means. Uh, every call in the last 2 minutes being reviewed in a college basketball game, even when it's like an inconsequential call that just wastes everyone's time. The tennis coach not being allowed to talk to the player during a match, I think makes no sense. Ties in the NFL, the egregious roughing the passer calls in the NFL, scoring in tennis. That's my list.
You're missing a couple ones in my opinion.
Okay.
You're missing when the ball gets stuck, when it gets wedged in the rim in basketball, that it's considered a jump ball. If you miss a shot so poorly that it gets wedged into the rim in the backboard, you know when it gets stuck, you have to have someone.
Yeah, I know exactly.
You should never get the ball back on that situation. You missed a shot so badly, you should never get the ball back. It should automatically be a result in possession for the team. Secondly, I don't hate this rule. I'm surprised I didn't have it on there just because it's cliche. When a team fumbles into the
I
end
like that
zone.
rule. I legitimately like the rule.
I do too. I actually agree with you on that.
Don't be an idiot. So I purposely did not put that on the list. Don't be an idiot. Don't fumble. You got when you go near the goal line, control the ball. Don't be an idiot and try to stretch out and try to get it over the line when you have the possibility of someone knocking it out, or just you're trying to you accidentally maybe throw it towards the goal line and it goes out of the end zone. Don't be an idiot. Control the ball.
I also don't like ties in soccer. They should end every game in a penalty kick shootout. I'm a big fan of that. I agree that tennis counting by 15s, ridiculous. And I think safety should be worth more than 2 points.
And another one that I thought of was just get rid of kickoffs in the NFL. Like it's
a waste of time.
It's gotten to the point where like you score and you can just say you want the ball on the 20-yard line, or you can elect to try an onside kick.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I think it's become such a waste of time and energy.
I did win my Super Bowl bet opening kickoff for a touchback.
That seemed like
won $6 on a $100 bet.
Oh, Hal Steinbrenner spoke here on Thursday. I'll have to see what he said. But so speaking of Hal Steinbrenner and the Yankees, there's been a lot of rumors about Blake Snell going to the Yankees, him, Cody Bellinger, Jordan Montgomery, Matt Chapman, all remain free agents, all rep by Scott Boras. It is February 22nd as we're taping this, 3:21 p.m. Eastern time. And all these guys are still free agents. First spring training game's happening right now. Dodgers and Padres in Arizona. It's unfortunate because these guys deserve to be getting paid, and right now they're not. The Yankees clearly need another pitcher, and I made a pros cons list for Blake Snell, reigning NL Cy Young Award winner, and I'll read my list. And based on what I say, you can tell me if the Yankees should make the move or not. It's pretty hilarious, though, that this guy who works for Barstool, I don't know if you are with Barstool and whatever they got going on, but this guy, his name is Marty Mush.
Marty Mush, yeah.
So he tweeted on Wednesday at 7:44 p.m. Eastern time, breaking, my sources confirm that Blake Snell is signing with the New York Yankees and are just working out minor details. The Yankees add to the rotation to make them World Series favorite. And then Brian Ho tweeted at 9:27 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday that hearing that there are no new developments at this time regarding Blake Snell and the Yankees, stay tuned. To which Marty Mush quote tweeted, Brian is a professional. He doesn't report until it's fully done, but it basically is. So like this guy from Barstool thinks he has sources. And anyway, so Blake Snell is a controversial figure. He's had 2 good years as a major league pitcher.
When he's good, he's really good, but he's
both
inconsistent.
Cy Young seasons, 2018 with the Rays, 2023 with the Padres. The rest of his basically career is an under 500 pitcher. He never pitches more than 7 innings. He's recorded out in the 8th inning once. Has not recorded an out in the 8th inning since August of 2021. Has only won double-digit games twice. That is the case against him. The case for him is that he's the best available pitcher on the market, reigning NL Cy Young Award winner, and the Yankees are desperate need of getting another pitcher. So my gut tells me that if the Yankees sign him, he'll be a colossal failure. but they also need another pitcher. So I have no idea where I weigh in on this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all comes down to what are your expectations for the Yankees this season, Franco? Do you think they're a team that can compete for the World Series?
It all honestly comes down to the pitching. Like, Cole's
So,
gonna
say no more. If that's your answer, go get Blake Snell. You're the New York freaking Yankees. You can afford anybody. Yes, it'll probably cost a little more than you'd be happy to pay for a guy who's been as consistent as he has. But at the end of the day, you're the New York freaking Yankees. Frank, we are here in Cleveland, right? I'm here in Cleveland. The Guardians spent $4 million this offseason. They brought back Austin Hedges as a backup catcher. That's it. They spent $4 million. They claim they don't have the money to sign anyone else in free agency because of the TV deal with Bally's and Diamond Sports. Now they went bankrupt. They didn't have enough money. So they bought $4 million of players in. That's it. That's all they could afford. The Yankees aren't a poverty franchise like that. Like, let's not pretend they're hurting for cash. And at the end of the day, the Yankees have championship standards, right? 27 rings. We all know the model. They have 27. And at the end of the day, if you have a lineup, which I do believe the Yankees lineup is capable of winning a World Series, and you don't feel the pitching is there, well, even if it's not Blake Snell, go get Jordan Montgomery or go get someone else. And I don't even necessarily love Montgomery, but my point is, you're the New York freaking Yankees. You have endless checkbooks. Go out and spend. There's no reason. I don't know what the downside is in signing a guy. And I understand, yeah, well, he may not be worth the money. Well, guess what? You're the freaking Yankees. I don't care what the money says. Look at the Dodgers. Like, are the Dodgers scared because Tyler Glasnow's coming off surgery? Like, no, they just gave him an extension. Like, the ante's been raised, man. You can't be cheap now, Hal. Can't be cheap now.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I don't love Snell, but they could really use another pitcher. And also, last thing before we go, Charlie Woods played at the PGA, tried to qualify for the PGA Tour's Cognizant Classic and shot a 16 over 86.
Ooh, I didn't see that.
He recorded a 12 on a par 4.
That's like me.
Which is Charlie Woods is one of us. He is mortal, and
I'm guessing. I have no idea. I'm guessing that's a water hole, and he hit it in the water 3 times. He pulled the Mike Lucas.
A water hole.
Pulled the Mike Lucas.
All right, that will do it for this edition of Lucas podcast. Maybe by the time this gets posted, the Yankees will have signed Blake Snell, but who knows? And the Nets will.
Last thing, Frank. If the Yankees sign Blake Snell, would you be? Does it change your ceiling expectations for this team? Is Blake Snell good enough to raise from wherever you think they are right now to the next tier? I guess I would describe it.
I mean, I think so, but like once I see him out there and see him, get lit up in his first start of the season, then the negativity automatically comes back.
Because they added Stroman, so it's Cole, Stroman. What's the rotation?
Clark Schmidt, Nestor Cortez, and that leaves me like, honestly, they would be smart to like have like a 2 days a week where like you have the first guy go 4 innings and another guy who pitches like 3 innings, because these guys aren't built to pitch 7 to 8 innings every start. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. But
all right,
that will do it for this edition of Lucas podcast. Let's go Nets.
Peace.